So howdy folks, and thanks for joining us today. After our losses in both the Cups last episode, I figured that we would try and wrap this season up as quickly as possible. To be quite frank, the competition isn't that strong and we should win it in a canter. So we're going to wrap up the season today. So thanks for joining us and we will get into it right now. So after the disappointment of losing to Wellington Phoenix 3-2 after being up in that game early on 2-0, the boys actually bounced back quite well, winning against Modbury Jets 8-2, Port Adelaide Pirates 5-2, Armidale 5-0 and Fulham United 6-2. So today we're going to start out by looking at the highlights of the Playford City game, and then later on we're going to look at the rematch against Noarlunga United, who actually had a draw with us on the 29th of November. So as we head to Ramsey Park, it's Len Zini in goals today, our lone player from Melbourne Victory. Pierstoff and Zaudegas up the front for us, Ray Gunn as an attacking midfielder. And it's Zaudegas running down the right hand side, gets into the box there, crosses it into Doff, and Doff gets the goal, 18th of the season for him. It's 1-0 after 23 minutes. And there's Kuiper now, going down the right hand side once more, finding some room down there, and that's crossed into Zaudegas, who gets the next goal, 2-0, 43 minutes in. In the second half now there, we've got Bannerman on the right there, pushing it forward, finds Kuiper again, and that is Ray Gunn getting his 15th goal of the season. It's 3-0. Doing it pretty comfortably at the moment, the Humpty Doo boys. There's French with the ball for Playford City there. Crosses it in there, and it is Gurnanier with the goal there. So an excellent reply from them. So 3-1 into injury time now. But Plyford on the attack there, and Mapor gets the goal there. So 3-2, but I would say their time is up, and indeed it was. So we've got a 6-point lead in the competition there, but a nice, comfortable 3-2 win. I know we made it look harder than it was. We had a 3-0 win there and just sort of let them back into the game a little bit. So after the Playford City win, we went on quite a good run there, beating Coburn 5-1, Adelaide Cobras 5-1, Western Knights 4-2. And then we came up against our old nemesis, Enfield City, and they got the better of us for the first time ever, beating us 2-0. And after that, we had wins against West Adelaide, Olympic Kingsway. We smashed Murdoch University 7-0 there. And then Metro Stars, who were second and continue to be, we beat them 6-3 to really put them to the sword and put our stamp on the competition as being ours, I think is probably the best way to look at that. So as we prepare to host Noarlunga United at Fanny Bay Oval, you'll notice that Dick Meister is actually in goals today. Now that is because we've had a bit of an injury crisis in our keeping stocks. Both Fisher and Lenzini are both injured at the moment. You can see the new boy Paulie Bumgravy there in the defence, as well as Inserti is playing in the defensive midfielder role today as well. You've got your usual suspects, Pierstoff and Zaudegas up front there, and Ray Gunn obviously playing in his position of attacking midfielder. So it's Kuiper with the corner now, getting ready to cross it in there, crosses it in there, there's Doff, puts it down for Gunn, and Gunn puts the ball in the back of the net. 1-0 after only 2 minutes. And there's Banks pushing it forward there, finds Gunn there. Gunn beats the keeper, senseless there. Waddington, that's 2 goals in 8 minutes. Very good start for the Humpty Doo boys. And now it's Noarlunga on the attack. There's Bradley there. And he's found the goal scorer in Ollerenshaw. An excellent there cross there from Simjanowski. And then Humpty Doo back on the attack. There's Inserti. They're pushing the ball through to Zaudegas. Zaudegas beats Waddington for the third goal of the game. It's 3-1 after only 23 minutes. And there's Banks pushing it forward through to Heza. Heza holding it up slightly and then crossing it in. Finds Doff. His 27th goal of the season. And it's 4-1. Quite the blitz happening at the moment. Ollerenshaw on the move there. Crosses it in there, and it looks like Ben Alcazar's given away a penalty there. And it's going to be Plant, I believe, stepping up. Yeah, there he is. And he puts the ball in the back of the net. Dick Meister had no chance there. Went the wrong way. So 4-2 in the 40th minute. There's Bumgravy, the new boy there, finding Inserti. And he's been brought down by Ollerenshaw, who's on a yellow already. He needs to be very careful. And there's Gunn putting the ball away. Poor old Waddington's had 5 put past him in the first half. He's not going to be too happy with that. Second half now. And there's Benalcazar pushing it forward there, but it's been intercepted there by Noaralunga. There's Labialips there, holding it up, pushing it forward. And there's Ollerenshaw again, and he's got the goal there. So Brandon Ollerenshaw gets his second goal, I believe, 5-3. Labialips with the cross. And it's been defended quite well, although they haven't been able to clear it straight away. And there's Labialips again. That's a pretty decent goal there. Beats the defender very easily. Bit disappointing in the defence there. 5-4, so there's still 30 minutes to go. But that was the way the game finished, and the boys finally got to walk across the stage as winners once again. So 4 seasons, 4 promotions, and the accolades just keep on going. There's a few players that have actually been there since day one. Bannerman in particular, he's been there since day one. But there's a few others as well. And even players like Dick Meister, who was in goals there. But yeah, a very good achievement for the boys, and well deserved. So we will move on to better things in next season. It was pleasing to also see that our youths team had a win in the Group 6 competition, had a 9-point, well, so far 9-point win, although there's still a couple of games left there. And Ryan Passmore, who we actually saw in an earlier episode, scoring a goal in the first grade side, he was the best in that competition, 26 appearances for 20 goals and 8 assists. So he's someone to watch out for as we move forward, and he gets a bit more experience. And just to wrap up the season, our last game of the season was against Port Adelaide Pirates. We won that one 6-0. Good to see Connor Schoen, another junior player with 2 goals there. So he's come through our junior system, and he's just starting to get a few games in the top side. So 32 games played, 95 goal difference, 89 points with an 18-point lead over the second place Metro Stars. A fine effort. Interesting to note there that Noaralunga had a 3-3 draw with Modbury Jets, and that game was for a place in the playoffs. If Noaralunga had got the win, they would have leapfrogged Modbury into the playoffs there. So disappointing for them, but Modbury, I guess, were probably the better team through the comp, but not by much. And pleasingly, the board have decided that they are planning to enlarge the stadium by 1,696 seats, which is going to cost us about 3.3 million. So once again, we're going to be a little bit inconvenienced, but I get the impression that we're still going to be playing at home this time, and there'll just be one stand closed. And fittingly, it was Metro Stars that have won the right to go up and be promoted with us, beating Murdoch University 3-0 in the final of the playoffs. Congratulations to them. And looking at the season wrap, it was Regis Quifa who proved to be our best buy of the season. But looking down that list, you've got Pennington, Michelotti, Bumgravy, Lenzini, and Inserti, who have all averaged over 7 for their matches. And even Koulibaly at a 6.97 was very impressive. So I think we did pretty well in the transfer windows this year, and they definitely were players that actually contributed to our success. Ray Gunn was responsible for our goal of the season. So from a really good assist from Pennington, he's actually smashed it from back behind the box, and very successful season for Ray Gunn, really. Our team of the year saw Fisher in goals, Michelotti, Koulibaly, Benalcazar and Bannerman at the back. He's Farinazzo and Shen in the mid, and then you've got Ray Gunn, Zaudegas and Doff up front. So looking at the Players Awards now, it was the Fans Player of the Season going to Pete Zaudegas with an average rating of 8. Young Player of the Season also went to Zaudegas. The Signing of the Season we saw before went to Quifa. We saw the Goal of the Season from Ray Gunn, and Zaudegas was our top scorer of the year with 28 goals. Most assists came from Heza with 22, and most Player of the Match awards also went to Zaudegas with 7, and Pennington was responsible for the most pass completions there as well. Record breakers included Bannerman with 95 appearances for the club. As I said, he was an original member of the club. Pierstoff has now got the goal record, 93 goals for the club. Our oldest player, Koulibaly, and also our oldest goal scorer. And the highest transfer to date is Dildo Swaggins at 604k. So now it's time to look at the transfer news for this particular season. So going from the transfers in, we've got Pennington, Michelotti, Koulibaly all coming in on freeze at the beginning of the season. And then Tucker B, we sold to Brisbane Roar, but he came back to us on loan. Then we also lend out Sam Lenzini to help us out in the goals from Melbourne Victory. He's since returned. Then Bum Gravy has joined us from University of New South Wales. Now Ray Gunn was sold to Porto but was returned to us on loan for the remainder of the season. Then we also got two free transfers in the January transfer window in Brian Schwakey and David Inserti. And then we also lost Dick Meister through sales, Varanazzo through sales, and McRae Van Lingen through sales, but they were all loaned back to us for the rest of the season. But even though they're transfers in there, they are transfers out going forward. So looking at the transfers out, we're going to focus on from the January transfer window. Eric Shen was the first one to leave us, and he was an original, so that one was quite sad to see, although he was competing with Regis Queefer, so it's understandable. Brutalised then went to Newcastle Jets. Then we had a few loan players, Ryan Gatt, Ritzy and Melia from our junior ranks. Then Ray Gunn went to FC Porto, was loaned back to us, but he is going for good now. Randy Watson left us for Omaha. Danny Dickmeister's left us for Shelbourne. Farinato's actually gone to the Wanderers, and Jack McRae Van Lingen has gone to Adelaide United. Some very, very interesting news there. So we do still have a good basis for a team, but we have definitely lost some skill there. You can just see the numbers in. Transfers in 6.75k, transfers out 1.6 million. We are at least benefiting from the sale of these players, and that's going to help us financially down the track. And he's back. Rick Astley has decided never to give us up, and he has returned to the club. He's had a bit of a spell over in England, but now he's back. He never gave us up after all. How about that? In other great news, Piers Doff has signed another contract with us, keeping him here for at least another year. Pete Zaudegas has signed a 2-year deal with us, so it means that our up front is taken care of. And Lucky Bulger's waiting in the wings. He actually had a really good finish to the season, scoring 7 goals in his last 3 games. Robin Banks, our left defender, also signed a new 2-year deal with us, keeping him here for a little bit longer yet. And our first choice goalkeeper, Alexander Fisher, has also signed on the dotted line for another 2 years as well. Michelotti has signed for yet another year. He was a free transfer to us and was actually invaluable to our success this year. Pennington was a godsend at defensive midfielder this year, and he signed on the dotted line for another year, as has David Inserti. And pleasingly, we were able to sign Lucky Bulger on a 2-year deal as well. He's just starting to come into his own, the 23-year-old, scoring a lot of goals at the end of the season to give us a lot of confidence that he's a player on the rise. So anyway, that will do us for today. Thank you so much for joining us for this wrap up of the season, and we'll get back to you in season 5. Let's see how the boys can go as the competitions get harder and harder. We'll see you then.